Greetings, Internet. It's Alex and Lewie from Barefaced.
Hello.
And we've got some things. Guitar things.
2 Reverends.
Just so you don't think we're being like profligate and spending our meagre profits on things, what we've actually done is realised there is a gap in our arsenal of demo guitars.
Yep.
And also we have a demo guitar that has a bit of a habit of going out of tune at critical moments, and that's just waste time in videos. So we got in touch with our good friends at Reverend. We have 4 Reverends here.
Yeah.
We've got a Watt Plower and a baritone that's Descent, and we've got a Telecaster which is called a Pete Anderson T.
Eastsider.
Eastsider, that's it. And
this cool thing.
a Jetstream 390 which has got P90s in it and a trem, which they're wicked. They're just
really great guitars.
They're really good guitars, and they're really good for the money, and better for us because we know the guys, so we've had some great deals from them.
Done a trade.
And then with this, we said, would you like some Barefaced cabs? Should we do a swap? And they were like, yes please, can we have some of your active FR cabs? So we are making them for them, and the guitars were already made, so they've been set up and they've come over to us. So I shall let Lewie open a box. Lucky dip, I don't know which is in which one.
Alright then.
A box, a case.
There we go. Gold top Les Paul. I mean, it's not a Les Paul, but you know, that's the vibe, isn't it? This is called the... You know what this is called?
Yes.
Have you forgotten?
Yes, it's a Reverend sparkly thing. It's a Roundhouse. It's a Reverend Roundhouse, so it's got the stop tail bridge, it's got the PAF style humbuckers, it's got Reverend's nice locking tuners. The headstock is really well thought out in that it's not as wide as some up here, so you don't have such a divergence on the D and the G, which seems to be the killer on quite a lot of Les Paul style headstocks, and that you get quite a lot of friction there, and that's why the tuning stability is problematic.
Right, smart. It has been thought about.
Which the guitar over there, which is leaving us, is
Make sure not show
particularly problematic with. Sparkly gold.
Proper arch top. I don't know.
It's very arched.
I don't know how that comes across. Probably not. But like the angle here is huge, which is nice. That's for a reason. We spoke about this before. No.
It is and it isn't. In that I think if you look at the history of Gibson guitar building, there were arch top, hollow, and semi-hollow bodies.
Yeah.
And then when they made the Les Paul, they continued with the arch top idea because of, I presume, a stylistic thing.
Because they just had been doing it, maybe,
But if you're on the Reverend website, you go over to the Railhammer website, which is their pickups site, so you can buy some of the Reverend pickups as the Railhammer brand. And they specifically say on that pickup site, don't put these pickups on an arch top on a Les Paul style thing, because the arch top makes it more mid-range, and with those pickups it's just too much.
Too mid-ranging.
So they're suggesting that you get a more focused mid-range from the way the resonances work when you have this shape. Which is cool. I'd love to AB them. So it'd be interesting to hear that versus the flat top one they make, double cut, which is kind of like an SG. But yeah, I mean, SGs sound very similar to Les Pauls, but the thinner, flatter body makes them sound different, and I think it sounds more different the louder you play.
Makes sense.
So it may be that in the modern world, but I don't think people are playing quite as loud on stage.
Yeah.
An SG sounds more like a Les Paul than it used to, but I bet in the 60s and the 70s, particularly in the 70s when people were really cranking in front of walls of cabs, there was more of a difference.
Jerry Garcia's file. Yeah.
Different controls.
Yeah, what are they? We got volume, master tone.
Yeah.
Bass contour.
Yes, that's the bass roll-off knobs. That's a passive treble roll-off, as you was used to. That's a bass roll-off.
Yeah.
We've got that on the one with the P90s, and we've got it on the baritone. It works really well.
I'm gonna backstring this, I think.
What's that?
You know about this on Les Pauls and SGs, where you put the strings through that way and you wrap them, top wrap, that's it. You wrap them over and then you put them over, because you lose the break angle here is quite intense.
Oh, so you want less break angle, do you think?
Less snappage, more sustain. So they say, because then what you can do is screw this all the way into the body, these 2 lugs, which then transfers your
more resonance
back into the body.
Oh, that's cool.
And you get longer sustain. But then when you screw them all the way down, this break angle is quite intense.
Yeah, I see.
So you just you backstrap it and then.
Oh, so it goes over there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
We'll do that at some point. See if that makes a difference.
Also, I think we should drop this semitone. I think this should be an E flat.
should we have a poll on this?
Yeah. Tell us if we should do it.
Well, because
Alex step down.
Alex thinks we should do it to this, and I think we should down tune this one. Do you want to open that one?
Okay, let's have a look.
Know what it is.
Et voila!
A Strat.
Moving too fast.
Of sorts.
It is a Strat. I think this is really cool. This is a new model from Reverend. It's a signature for Greg Koch. It's a Gristle ST. So it's...
They called the Gristle, that's cool.
Yeah. It's a Strat, as you can see, with a fractionally oversized body. I gather it's about 1/8 of an inch bigger.
Right.
3mm bigger. I mean, it looks fine with me. Greg is a much bigger person than either of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it makes sense. It's got a thicker centre block.
Yeah.
Allegedly for more sustain, and then thinner wings for more resonance.
Yeah.
This is the sort of things where I do think the marginal gains do happen. I know people don't seem to believe
Adds up.
wood matters, but I think when I look at it from a physics standpoint, and also my experience of playing different basses, and if you play basses with really clear pickups through really clear amps and cabs, you really do hear this stuff, and you may not if you're running guitars through dirty things.
It's a different beast, isn't it? But it adds up. Regardless, same controls?
Yes.
So Les Paul?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Right, no. Crazy controls.
What have we got?
So we've got 3 single coil size pickups.
Yep.
But all 3 of them are humbuckers.
Yeah.
But then, so these are essentially noiseless single coils, you could think of them as.
Right.
They're active pickups, so they've got about 1/100th the output electrically from each coil, so they're really low inductance, so they've got loads of top end, loads of clarity, so they're super flat response, but then so it still sounds like a Strat. After the buffer that'll be there, they've got a filter circuit to give it the sound that you would expect from a passive pickup, with that aperture and the normal number of coils you get in a passive pickup. So essentially, they've got the same sensing aperture as a single coil.
Yeah.
And then electrically, they use active electronics to adjust themselves to work electrically and like a single coil, while still being humbucking.
The buffers there just increase the output back to normal audible level, and then they add the tone shaping.
Because normally, if you put 2 coils in series, then you're going to mess with the inductance and the resistance, and you're going to end up with a pickup that sounds different. Or if you do the stacked coils, again, the same thing.
It's why a coil tap never sounds like a single coil. I have a coil tap humbucker guitar, and you put it single coils, and it never quite sounds the same.
So I think this is really cool, because I'm a fan of clever active pickups. The other thing that's cool on this, because it's got the active electronics, volume, tone, and then this is wired backwards, so if them all the way up, it's like you'd expect a Strat to sound with all the knobs all the way up.
Okay.
But if you turn this one backwards, it actually turns up the neck and the bridge pickups.
Oh, that was it, yeah. So you get all 3 at once.
Yes, so if you're on middle, you can wind that up and bring in neck and bridge, but it also means if you're on bridge, you can bring it back, bring in neck, or vice versa.
It's a hell of a lot of options, isn't it, for one guitar?
A ton of options.
It's crazy.
And it's got a really nice Wilkinson trem. You were finding... We did this as an unboxing video, and Davey wasn't here, so the camera wasn't in focus.
Davey's back, and we're safe again.
We're really good at this.
I mean, it's a great trem.
We've done uncasing instead of unboxing.
Yeah. Shall we?
Do you put the strap on backwards?
No, that's the right way around, because the writing would be upside down otherwise.
Oh, I'd never thought of it like that. You have the double bit at the front.
I've never thought about it. I just look which way the writing would be. It's all about how you look, Alex.
Don't look at my shoes.
This sounds amazing. That's my go-to neck, everything all the way out. That's kind of how I set a Strat, really. I think you can kind of start with.
Okay.
Bit of a slapback going on here. I think I'll turn that off for now. And there's a slight bit of trem, so let's go just some verb. But that's kind of where I usually start with a Strat. Sounds amazing. Bit of out of phase. That sounds cool. That middle's really cool. I never know what to do with the middle. Rhett Shull did a video recently about how it's the best sound in Strat position, but no one knows how to use it, and I think he might have a point. But I never know when to go to it, because for me...
So you go to one extreme or the other, do you?
Kind of, and then out of phase for the, you know, all the other... And then you've got the bridge, the neck, which, the bridge rather, and maybe put that delay back on. That's that kind of world, isn't it?
Try the neck and bridge together. So if you go on to leave it on bridge and then wind
wind this back.
Yeah.
So if I'm winding this back, that's bringing in the neck.
Yeah.
You sure?
Apparently.
Okay. Does feel like a bass contour knob. I think that might be the middle one.
Ah!
Because that's just taken off all the top
That
end,
was just
isn't
taken.
it?
Yeah, that's the tone knob.
And then the middle, so at the moment, this should be just...
If the middle's all the way up, then it should just be bridge.
And then if I roll it back... Yeah,
Oh, that's cool!
that sounds kind of like, it's got like hollow sounding.
Yeah, well, it would be.
It's missing that mid bit, right?
Yeah, it's funny, I just thought of the shadows, I don't know why.
Yeah? Yeah, totally, yeah.
So try it on the middle, and then you'll have all of them.
So, just middle.
Chunky.
That's just gonna like...
Thick.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
So just the middle. All of it. It's cool.
This is really good. So how many Strats have you owned? You have two.
I have two. I've only ever had two.
And they're the only two you've had.
Yeah.
And you've changed pickups on a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, it goes through phases.
So where does this sit versus those? Because are they both no, one's a PRS.
One's the PRS and one's the Fender. They're both always been quite low output, but I've just put the Fender lace sensors back in the Fender Strat to do the Dave Gilmour thing.
Right.
90s, quite glassy, high output, overwound. Currently in doing that, it's not done yet.
That's
this is a bit more like that. This is not... I don't think this is the... I don't know, because there's so many options. But initially, it doesn't feel like the most vintage thing in the world, does it? Like if you...
I don't know. To me, I've not got enough minutiae on this. To me, it sounds like a Strat.
Really?
Yeah.
This feels like, maybe it's because of how it looks. You know, that thing how we eat with our eyes? And
Yeah.
It's the same with music, a little bit. Because of how it looks, and it's such a nice guitar, and it plays so well, and it's so well put together. It feels like a bit of a session beast, where like you turn up for a session with this, and you know you could get anything you needed out of it, kind of thing. But if I was doing a Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute gig, yeah, maybe if I sanded it down a little bit, it'd be alright. But I don't know. It's hard to say. But initially, it feels a bit more modern Strat thing to me. But that's not to say those 63.
But it's because it doesn't sound like. I mean. I'd have thought if you asked most guitarists about active pickups, they'd say, "Oh, what EMGs for metal?"
Doesn't sound like that.
It's nothing like that.
No, it does sound like a passive Strat.
Yeah,
which is well impressive.
And it won't hum. Whatever you do with this is not going to hum.
That's amazing, isn't it? Really?
You know, because bear in mind, it's not just the fact you've got humbuckers; it's active.
It's just not.
It's just so noiseless. As soon as you go active, you don't end up with hum coming from there or here.
Right.
Because the way the electronics is working is just so much harder to get hum into it.
I think this would sound more vintage if we put it in E flat. Which is where we get back to our...
the argument. Does this go E flat or does this?
Trying to do that, you know, the Robin Ford thing is like a Les Paul kind of 3-5 style guitar on the bridge with the tone rolled to like 6 or 7.
Okay.
So it's like spanky, but you don't get that like horrible bitey top end. But I got confused because this is
the knobs are in the wrong place.
This is a bass contour, so I guess I'd turn that down a bit as well with
it. You thinned it out.
I guess so.
It drives less when you bring that down.
Okay, so that's about 6 or 7 on the treble.
It's not like the Clapton woman tone, but it's heading in that direction. Because that's tone rolled off, isn't it? Neck
is
pickup.
That? Yeah.
Oh no, but that's bridge pickup.
Yeah. It's like Schofield, Robin Ford, like.
Oh right.
This is really nice to play. I don't usually like a Les Paul, but Reverend it doesn't feel like a Gibson. It feels a bit sleeker, and it's just nice.
What's so interesting going from those? These are 2 updates.
Yeah.
Of iconic designs.
Yeah.
But being reminded of the essence of those 2 designs that sets them so far apart and has meant that the Les Paul and the Strat have carved a really, really clear place in the guitar world, in that this one, this Strat type, Les Paul type thing, it's shorter scale, so you get a bit less attack, a bit less harmonic top end.
Okay.
Yeah, and the lows are a bit more woolly and stuff like that. It's a marginal change, but it does make a difference. Like an upright piano versus a grand piano.
Yeah.
It's a small change.
Different sounding instrument. Yeah.
You've got woods that tend towards more like mahogany type woods. Darker, denser woods that are a bit less stiff, a bit more damped because they're more resinous. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that darkens it.
Yeah.
And then you've got pickups which they're more clear than a lot of people think they are, but they're large aperture, so they're sensing a different part of the string. They're sensing more of the string. So the way they perceive the mids and treble coming off the guitar is different.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 pickups.
It just all adds up, doesn't it? 100%.
What's with your Strat type guitar, you've got 3 narrow aperture pickups, one of which is really near the bridge and angled. And actually, I think the neck pickup is further away, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It is. So it's sensing,
more here, specifically.
And you've got a longer scale. You've got a maple neck that's stiffer. It's bolt-on rather than set neck.
Yeah,
You've got flat, thin body rather than this massive lump. So there's everything's different.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's why they carved a place so clearly.
Yeah, I agree.
In the world of music, in that you can fill all the gaps in between them, but essentially, if you have a Les Paul type guitar and you have a Strat type guitar, the Venn diagrams barely touch.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally.
And with the two of them, you could probably do everything.
Well, that's why I end up straight away playing a bit differently. Like with that, you play that way, and then this one, I just went to that kind of.
And they sit differently on you. Because that's the other thing. See, a telly
where your hand goes
sits more like a Les Paul because it doesn't have the upper horn.
Yeah.
And it's 2 pickups rather than 3 pickups, and it's a fixed bridge rather than a tremolo bridge. So it all adds up. That's what brings the Strat even further from the Les Paul type thing.
Do something on the neck,
I guess. Such a gloriously different sound straight away.
Yeah, even just everything up on the neck. We are going through this beautiful 2-rock today as well, by the way, into this.
So, this isn't ours.
No, unfortunately. No.
Lewie will explain the story. It's probably in another video, but
yeah, we've got another video on it. We've just got this back from Mario Posen's UK tour, so we gave him this cab with a V30 in it, and this is the head that he was using from Damien, who
cheers
very kindly lent it to him. He's coming to grab it tomorrow. So we just did some Mario Posen stuff, so we're just going through it just for this video quickly, and it sounds amazing. So that is very honest and clear, which is terrifying to play through because
if you're a 2-rock person, and we've got quite a few customers who play 2-rock heads.
Yes, they're very
people
popular.
have realised that 2-rock make very nice heads, Bareface make very nice cabs, so they go together really well. There is a popular 2-rock head size, which is wider than that.
Yeah, quite a bit.
And is a bit wider than our Uprising 212.
Yeah.
So we are doing a 2-rock width Uprising, which someone has just ordered.
Uprising TR.
Yeah. So it's just a bit wider, so they look really smart together. It's going to sound essentially the same.
Yeah.
Slightly bigger in the lows, but it's very marginal. It'll sound great. But yeah.
The fact that this sits on the Usurper though is crazy.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
It's a serious rig for like super light and super small.
And Ariel Posen was playing baritone.
Mostly.
Right.
Yeah. Exclusively, I think, on this one. Yeah.
So baritone all through. Is this a 50-watt head?
It's got a switch on it, 50 or 100. It's on 50 at the moment.
So it's 100 if it's all the way up.
You can put it on 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why JCM 800 so huge?
And this is not as heavy either. I mean, it's not light. Don't get me wrong, but
nice suede stuff.
Beauty. Right, let's do some neck. That's a proper good rock tone, that, isn't it? That's really nice.
I'm just going to interject here. This is an empty one, but this is one of these Usurper 112Ws, and it's a bit dusty as well. But essentially, this is the AVD thing in the back, which makes our cabs behave differently to everyone else's. And when I say differently, what I mean is like 1,000 times better. So the low end is reinforced by a Helmholtz resonance from here, but the mids and highs come out of here. They're diffracted by this, and it sort of adds gain and couples it, improved acoustic impedance to the room, and then that spreads out behind and around you, and then inevitably, because we are in the world, and generally if you're gigging, and it's an interesting thought actually, in Britain, where we are, we hardly do any gigs outdoors. And if you're playing outdoors, it's like a festival, at which point there's a big PA system and there's monitors and it's just really all sorted. But it rains here a lot. This is why I'm wearing ridiculous shoes today, because my other shoes got soaked on the way in. You know, we don't play a lot of gigs outdoors. And no one rehearses outdoors, do they?
No, I don't know why you would.
Unless you have a really big house in the middle of nowhere and you live in a country with much nicer weather.
Yeah.
So if you're playing indoors, this AVD thing is magic. And if you're playing outdoors, we'll just enjoy the fact that cabs are amusingly light and look nice, and we put really good speakers in them, and so on and so forth.
But you know what? That's a fair point. When we caught the Brighton show last week for Ariel's tour, he was saying that it's really great having a 112, not only because it's really light and small, but they're on ears, and so like that's a fairly big gig, like fairly well known, and ears are a really popular thing now. I don't really do gigs that aren't on ears.
Yeah.
And we've said before that with the AVD and everything that's going on in there, the speaker itself is more honest. The box is doing what the speaker wants it to do, right? So even if you're miking it up and going into ears, you're getting the honest representation of speakers. So sound
and also
regardless of the whole spreading, you know what I mean?
Yes, and also if you're close micing a cab, the cab's making sound in all directions, but the mic is only picking up part of that sound.
Yeah.
And then the sound that's going all over the place is going to bleed into all the other mics on the stage to a degree. And it's going to be heard. You know, it's going to be bleeding through the, because in-ears aren't completely soundproof and stuff.
No.
So a cab that generates a sound in all directions that sounds more like the mic sound is going to be easier to work with. And that's what we've consistently found. When we started doing these, people were like, oh, the sound engineer won't like it because it's putting sound out at the back and it'll bleed and it'll be a problem. It's been quite the opposite. Every sound engineer seems to love them because they just make life easier on stage. The mix just comes together more quickly.
Just even.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy with this. I can't really think of anything else to play specifically right now.
Thank you, the team at Reverend.
Yeah,
thank you, Greg, for
designing a great Strat,
getting involved with the Gristle thing.
And
this is an interesting design in that the Roundhouse. This is certainly the Mark II or further on. If you look up an older Reverend Roundhouse, it looks just like a Les Paul.
Oh, really?
And then they've come up with this really nice body shape which manages to reference a Les Paul whilst being offset in a cool way.
Yeah, it looks
That's
neat,
wicked.
isn't it?
There's some really nice little, like the output jack. It's this one that has 4 contacts rather than 2, so it grabs it twice as hard. So initially you're having a bit of a fight getting in, but it's not going to unplug.
Yeah, they just feel high end. They're just bloody great.
Yeah, great.
Nice one.
Well done. Thank you. We'll be back with more stuff. Oh yeah, tell us about the tuning. Does this one go down a semitone? Does the other one go down a semitone? I just don't.
We'll see, let us know.
It's because you're too much of a Hendrix fan. But you're not,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's it. We'll be back. See you next time.
Ciao.